we're in something new. We've not been here before. Much has been lost, but we're finding out more about what matters most, our purpose, and whether we'll drift further apart or draw closer. Together. This series of podcasts is intended to bring some perspective in this time of great change. It's unrehearsed and largely unedited. It's just people telling their stories about how they're managing right now. Some are helpful, others are just fun, but they're all intended to foster one thought. In a time when we're being asked to stay apart, there are ways that we can stay together. And today I bring you Michelle Frechette.
I am Michelle Frechette, and I'm in just outside of Rochester, New York, in a little town called Hilton. It's very rural. There are apple orchards everywhere, and we're known for our apples. As a matter of fact, every October we have the Apple Festival here in Hilton. And one year they attempted to bake the world's largest pie. And I think the record stood for just a few days before somebody someplace else in the world baked one a few inches wider.
Oh, how big is the biggest apple pie? I mean, are we talking stupid big? Is it the kind of thing which takes up a tennis court or something?
Well, it was about 15 or 16 feet across in diameter. So it was, I don't know what that is in metric because, I'm American, but it was very large. The one problem with baking the world's largest apple pie outdoors is the bees. There are bees everywhere for this festival because apples, of course, anything sweet will attract the bees.
Yeah, that's really interesting. The idea that your location is famous for the world's largest apple pie. That's great. What obviously we're the purpose of this little mini podcast is to talk about nice things. We're going to call it #together, which I think is a nice.
I love it.
Yeah, it's got a sort of ring to it, hasn't it? And the idea is just to share stories about something that you've noticed, or something that you did, or something that you saw somebody else was doing, or whatever that you think is of benefit to the rest of us during this troubled time.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed is I even wrote an article about this. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it's on my own blog, actually. I write for so many different places. But one of the things I've noticed is that we are isolated in that we are physically apart from one another. But I have seen, especially the WordPress community, really come together and become more cohesive in a way that I don't think I'd ever seen before, even with WordCamps happening in the past. Of course, now there's no WordCamps happening, so we're not getting swag and shaking hands and hugging one another and those kinds of things that sometimes happen in those events. But what I've seen is these online coffee breaks that people are doing. And, I host one now for WordPress as well. And just open up my Zoom and share the link, and people have an opportunity to come and talk. And sometimes it's very serious conversation about the fear of what's happening in our world right now. And sometimes it's frivolous and fun conversation, because that's what we need too, is the opportunity to just kind of let loose a little bit and have fun. And about a week and a half ago, I even did, believe it or not, quarantine karaoke. And so through the course of about 2.5 hours, we had about 20 different people come and go out of the Zoom, and we would take turns. You would play some music through your phone or through the computer, however you would, and sing to one another through Zoom. And so it was kind of like the Brady Bunch karaoke going on the screen. And I will say some of us sound amazingly good, and others, it's a good thing that they have they're developers or web designers. they have their day job to fall back on. But the point is, it was just super fun. Yeah. There were families came on with their children, and to see a 3-year-old singing a song from Frozen for everybody, it just melted your heart, to see that kind of thing. A whole family, Kimberly Lapari and her family, did a little country music for us and just had a blast. And it was a nice way to just kind of distance ourselves from the fear of what's going on right now and the unknown that's happening. Right now, today, the U.S. has the most cases of COVID worldwide. And my own community, the Rochester area here has over 300 cases and 12 deaths already. So it can be very serious and it can feel very oppressive. But when you have these virtual windows where you can be speaking to somebody around the world and sharing good news and talking about things that make you tick and things that just kind of make you happy, it's a wonderful thing. And not only just through Zoom, but, Twitter conversations and direct messages through Slack and just different ways that people are doing things. And me personally, I'm a singer. I love to sing. I'm classically trained through my undergrad. And so, and not that my videos are wonderful, but I've been recording about a video a day of me singing and putting it out on YouTube, sharing it on social media through my Facebook group or this Facebook page and Twitter account and things like that. And it makes me happy that I can sing because I was very ill earlier this year and it was I don't know if it was what it was, if it wasn't pneumonia and it wasn't the flu, but I was sick for over a month and I couldn't sing because I didn't have the breath to be able to sing. And part of your brain starts to say, will I ever sing again? Will I ever be able to have the lung capacity to open up on those high notes? Because I am a soprano. And so being able to sing these, little songs that I'm doing, some of them are Broadway. I've done some hymns, whatever. I've even been taking requests. People have been sending me direct messages asking me, "Oh, could you do a song by so-and-so? Or can you try this song for me?" And just to make people happy. So I don't get a lot of reactions through Twitter, but my Facebook page, every time I post there, people from high school, people from my community. I mean, I'm 51 years old. High school was a long time ago. And those people are still commenting and telling me how it's affecting them in a positive way. So just those little things make such a big difference right now.
I think it's really intriguing in that I've noticed in myself, and I'm sure this is probably played out across the population at large, is that because there's less opportunity to do let's describe them as more interesting things, going out and doing the normal things that you would have been involved in. I've noticed myself becoming a little bit more introspective and noticing the things that were probably unnoticed in the past. So, as an example, I'm taking far more time to do cooking and things like that. We're spending more time in my family with our children than we would traditionally do. The amount of time that we spend together doing like puzzles and building things and obviously doing a little bit of schoolwork and all of that has just increased. And I've just become a little bit more thoughtful. Like wasting food has just ceased to happen. We're really eating every last thing that we can and trying to be a little bit more creative. And I'm sure that this is the case across the board. Everybody's stuck inside. There's a limited array of things to do. And you just sort of notice a bunch more things that you probably had lost touch with.
So I can cook, but I'm not a fan of cooking. It's not one of the things I enjoy. But I will tell you that I have made a game of how few toilet paper squares I can use in one trip to the lavatory.
Yeah.
Where I used to grab 2 tissues to blow my nose, now I fold it very judiciously and find ways to save on some of those paper products that are in short supply right now.
Do you know, it's interesting as well. I wonder if when all of this blows over, which we'll know it will, I wonder if those things will stick with us. I wonder if we'll value, as an example, I know it's a frivolous example, but you're mentioning using up paper to blow your nose. In the past it was a commodity which had almost no interest. There was nothing attached to tissue. You didn't have any kind of mechanism of thinking about a tissue. You just took it out of the box, and if 8 came out, probably 8 got chucked in the bin. Whereas now the sort of scarcity of things is forcing us to really reevaluate. The scarcity of tissues, the scarcity of food, the scarcity of not free time, but time available to go and do what you will outside has become a real, a zero commodity. And so all of these things are becoming much more precious and much more valuable and much more interesting. Certainly to me, and obviously to you, you're thinking about things in a way that you never did before. And I really hope, certainly from an environmental point of view, nothing bad can come out of us consuming less. I just see that as a complete win.
Yeah, I agree with you. Absolutely. I'm much more conscious of my use of things
Mm.
because everything now has to be ordered. I'm not going, I'm immunocompromised. I'm not going to the grocery store. I'm not
Mm.
going to Walmart or Target or places like that. So it's very intentional in purchasing. And so I'm very intentional in my use as well,
Mm.
much more so than I ever was before.
Yeah, I do feel that there are, bizarre though it is to say, and it's so easy to see this as a period of only negative things. It is bizarre that there are amazing positive things. I also feel we're very lucky in that we're in the communities that we mix in. We already had a lot of this technology in our back pocket. So the notion of using Zoom and becoming comfortable with Zoom and familiar with Zoom or whatever tech you were using to screen share, it's already there. You could deploy it immediately. So the idea of you getting comfortable in front of a camera and a microphone, that was already done in your case. You were happy with that. So you could immediately start singing. Other people are, they're really finding that a little bit difficult. They don't like looking at themselves on the screen and they find it strange. But I think in many respects we're very well positioned to ride this one out. I don't mean in terms of economics, because it may be that your economics have been really turned upside down, but in terms of the capability to understand the technologies that are available to us, I feel we're very well positioned. Yeah.
I agree. I have a brand new MacBook Pro,
Mm.
and what it can do that my old MacBook Air can't do is drop in those virtual backgrounds
Hmm.
in Zoom.
Yes.
So I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, you've got a dedicated graphics card now, and it can do all those fun things. Yeah.
Let's just say that on my Zoom call the other day, my four favorite Liverpudlians were behind me.
The Beatles, lovely. And we, of course, sort of launched a little project just the other week, which was completely out of the blue. I don't even recall how that happened, but go on, you might as well tell everybody about it because it's fun.
Well, it was your brainchild. It was something that you told me you've been wanting to do for quite a while, actually, which is share good news,
Mm.
and only good news. You
Mm.
turn on the news anywhere right now, and those bright spots are only called bright spots. The news doesn't show wonderful things all the time. It shows the negative, and they'll be and here's today's bright spot. It's like, why is there only one?
Yeah, it's always
There's
at the
so
end
much.
as well, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
always like the final item before the news ends. It's never
like
the top of
I
the
don't.
show. Yeah.
I don't want 27 minutes of Donald Trump just so that I can see that a child, had a wonderful day or something. So I loved your idea of having this good news show. And so I think right now we're just doing blog posts, but I think we're going to, at least I intend to bring it to video and audio very soon. As my week progresses and I make some decisions about what I want to look like with that. But it's the good news show,
Yeah.
and it's you and I sharing good news that we're finding in the world and in our own communities and even in our own homes. And I love that you started a Facebook group for it as well, because
Yeah, that kind of blew up,
it
didn't it?
exploded
Yeah.
overnight.
Yeah, I mean,
don't-
it's not like tens of thousands or anything, but I don't know how it got to like 160 or something that it's at the minute, out with zero effort. It would appear that people like to hear good things. Yeah, it's goodnews.show, so not the good news, just goodnews.show.
Yeah, good news
And
show.
and we're just going to post nice things. It turns out it's actually very easy to post nice things because there's a lot of nice things happening. I feel like social media has been overtaken to some extent with people wanting to reset the balance of the stuff that they're reading. And of course, you watch your Facebook stream and what have you. There's still the fear and what have you, but there does seem to be an upwelling of people posting comedy things and fun things, and people just taking the mickey out of the isolation that they're going through, turning it on its head and making it into something of interest. A good example, a really great meme that I saw today, I can't remember where it came from. We have these things called sheepdogs in the UK, and a sheepdog is trained by a farmer, and the farmer whistles, and this dog obeys and runs around and manages to sort of herd the sheep. And there was a picture of the dog sitting in front of the laptop with paws on the table, and there was just a screen of sheep.
I saw that one too.
Said the remote working sheepdog. I just thought that was great. It's really funny. So you must check it out. If you the intention though is that it's not just me and Michelle. There is a share link on the top menu, and if you wish to if you wish to post a news article, but feel free to do it. It'll come our way, and we can read through it and set it to published. But yeah, thank you, Michelle. I feel like we've spread some good cheer today. I appreciate you doing that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
You have a lovely day. Take care.
You do the same.
At a time when we're staying apart, creative ways of staying together are so important. I hope that you found something of use here, a new idea, or perhaps just a smile. Stay safe, stay together.